Maruma, how are you doing?
I'm all right, man. Tell me how the boys are doing, because I understand yesterday they had a media briefing where they were giving you guys an update before this all-important clash.
Yeah, they had a media update. They had the captain's run and press conference, and we were joined by Jean de Villiers and Yanni Duplessis. And I have to say, for a match against the likes of Japan, which, let's be honest, is not a big rugby superpower, and we should beat at all, but comfortably, very comfortably. They were quite tense. I think it's just been the build-up of 3 weeks of training and conditioning and fitness, and a horrendous rugby championship where they lost all their matches. I think it's just all that kind of pressure has been brought to the boil. So, yeah, they were a little bit tense yesterday and a little bit cagey in their answers to questions. And I think the focus is already there in the camp. If I was the Japanese team, I'd be very, very worried right now, because it looks like the Springboks are out to prove a point.
Let's talk about that first match between, of course, the host England and Fiji. Would you say that game actually set the bar for what to expect in this World Cup?
Well, if it set a bar, then it's a very, very low bar indeed. It was an insipid match. It was boring. It was clearly a nervous England team. Obviously, the sense of occasion getting to them. There were mistakes. The Fijians played well. The Fijians have progressed vastly since the 2011 World Cup, which is the last time Fiji crossed most people's radar. But England, they didn't look too handy at all. I mean, they looked all right, but I wouldn't say they're world beaters, and I definitely wouldn't say they're world championship material right now. Although what the likes of Johnny Wilkinson, the World Cup winner of 2003, was saying is they're just getting that pressure off their shoulders. That was the first match. They've got it done and dusted. You can tick that box, 5 points, bonus points, and now it's onwards to more important matches in their group.
Of course, as the host, it was very important for them to win their first match. Given this win, how would you describe the mood in general now in the UK?
Well, I think people are slowly warming up a little bit more to rugby. It is, you've got to be honest, it hasn't created quite the excitement and anticipation that you would expect if the Rugby World Cup was being held in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. There's a little bit of a more muted tone here. I think a lot of Brits, they're way more interested in football than rugby. It's kind of a minority of Brits that love rugby. So we didn't see too much of a build-up. However, I am standing in Brighton's train station at the moment, and there are lots of people flooding through the gates onwards towards the stadium, and they're all wearing rugby jerseys, a lot of Springbok jerseys, green and gold. So there is, on game days, definitely a vibe being created.
Of course, you saw the boys in training sessions during the course of the week. How would you describe the mood in the camp?
Oh, no, they're determined. I haven't seen a more determined Springbok team in a long time. They really were putting in some hard training sessions. We got to see some of the work that Richie Gray, the forwards coach, does with them, and it's hardcore. And they were being put through their paces. And that was just one day of a 3-week intensive, boot camp type training. So they're very hungry. They're very, very, pensive at the moment. It's almost like they've been caged in. And I think when they run out onto the field this afternoon, they're going to be able to just let loose a little bit. And as I say, Japan must be very wary of the Springbok team, because they look like they have a point to prove.
I'm saying those words, of course, my brother. It gives us hope. I'm looking forward to this match. But how much of a concern, if at all, the issue of Captain Jean de Villiers? Because we remember he was out of action for almost 8 months, nursing that knee injury. Is he in good condition?
Well, I think, the Springbok medical team is up there with the top in the world, and they've had to deal with a laundry list of injuries to many players. And yes, Jean de Villiers is one of the key guys. And I think that monitoring him very closely and making sure that this is just the right type of match to get him back into the frame. However, as as he progresses in his career towards the end, it does seem like he's very, very much more, prone to injury, and he's getting a lot of knocks from a lot of ways. He had a knee injury, then it was a broken jaw. Hopefully against Japan, it's going to just be, it's not going to be overly physical, and he's not going to come back. But this is just the kind of match where you could kind of just tweak your knee or something. Something goes wrong at the worst possible time. 3 minutes to go, we've completely and utterly wrapped this match up, and he just suddenly turns his knee sideways, and that's his World Cup over. It happened before to him in 2003. So let's just hope for the best.
Now, how important is it for him to really come to the party in this game in order to make the boys play? Because we know how much influential he can be to this team.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, he's absolutely the team leader, but he's got a bunch of teams with him. Victor Matfield as well, Burke. The one thing that the Boks do have is a lot of old hands and cool heads, and that's what's needed in this sort of circumstance, is to make sure that you just get past this opening match. Obviously, we are going to win. There's no doubt about it. And make sure that the guys are in high spirits, but also that this has been a productive match. And that's where I think the captain's role comes in as well. It's to keep guys on the straight and narrow. It might get a little bit messy towards the middle part, like running in tries left, right, and center. But that's when the captain's got to call them in and say, listen, guys, we're not here to, score a cricket score. We're here to run through our structures, through our plays, check what we need to work on, all that kind of stuff. Let's stay disciplined. Yes, it might be an opportunity to showboat, but we're not going to do that. We're going to work on what we have to, because there are bigger matches to come. Japan is not our World Cup. Japan's just the first test.
Of course, that's our sports reporter, Simon Burke, joining us out in Brighton in the United Kingdom. And that's, of course, how we come to the end of your sports bulletin at this hour. To me, our